Laverne Cox just earned her third Emmy nomination for playing Sophia on the sixth season of Orange is the New Black. I'm Kevin Jacobsen of Gold Derby, here to ask Laverne, you haven't been nominated every single year, but you knew you were certainly on the Emmy radar. So I'm wondering what your expectations were going into the Emmy nomination morning this year.
I had no expectations. I said to my team, I was like, I thought honestly this would be the year of Pose being nominated. Yet as of now, I'm still the only transgender person to be nominated for an acting Emmy. And I thought this year I would no longer be the only one. And so I was just so excited and ready to celebrate, MJ or India Moore or Dominique Jackson or Angelica Ross from Pose, or maybe even Aja Kate Dillon, who plays the brilliant Taylor on Billions. And there's so many wonderful performances this year. Isis King was submitted. Isis King does this amazing performance in When They See Us, and I was just so proud of her. And there's just some great work this year. Hari Neff in You. Hari doesn't even play a trans character in You. Hari is openly trans in real life, and just great work. And so I was shocked. I was in London shooting a film, shooting Jolt, starring Kate Beckinsale, my first action comedy. And so I got the call from my publicist, and I thought something bad had happened. I was like, why is she calling me? Oh no. And then she told me I got nominated.
Yeah, and you are in one hell of a category this year where the other nominees are Felicia Rashad, Jessica Lange, Cicely Tyson, Sherry Jones, and Carice Van Houten. So, I mean, how do you feel about kind of being in their company, being their category sisters this year?
It is absolutely incredible. I can't even believe it. Well, Miss Tyson was nominated. When I was nominated, I think 2 years ago, Miss Tyson was also nominated in the same category, and I got to meet her for the first time, and my mom was there, and we got to take a picture with Miss Tyson. It was, oh my God, that was a dream come true, and it meant so much for my mother. My mother is like, she came up watching Miss Tyson. My mother's met a lot of famous people at this point, but meeting Cicely Tyson was certainly one of the highlights for her. So, I can't believe it. And I'm so grateful to the Academy voters who thought that the work that I did in season 6 was worthy of this, to get to share a company with such incredible people. And I've really been thinking a lot about, the first few times I was nominated, the first time I was like, I'm going to just be in the moment and just enjoy this. And it was my first Emmys, and it was the first season of Orange. And the second time, I honestly was just in shock, and I had like a panic attack. It's so weird. I literally had it was so weird. I think because I'm an Academy voter now, and I know how hard it is. And I had panic attacks. And I remember I was texting Uzo, because I was like, who can I text to help me understand what I'm feeling now? It was so weird. And this time I cried, of course. And then I was like, well, if I'm nominated a third time when I didn't think anyone was really checking for me in this performance, it must be a bigger reason. There must be something bigger than me. And I thought maybe it's about me highlighting the incredible work that other trans folks are doing on television now. Still, I'm the only one who has been nominated for an acting Emmy who is transgender. And so I started thinking about the history of first and award shows and whatnot. Most recently, I started watching interviews with Halle Berry about her talking about her Oscar win. Halle Berry, of course, is the only Black woman to have ever won a Best Actress Oscar. Certainly, we're talking Emmys. And a wonderful thing that Halle said, because I just remember that moment, that Oscar night I watched, and I just was in tears, and I had such a sense of hope and possibility as an artist, and the work that Halle did in Monsters Ball is so incredible. Such a huge fan. When I met Halle Berry last year, I didn't even prepare. I wasn't even prepared for how emotional I would be, because she's been such a huge inspiration. And in an interview from 2016, Halle talks about the fact that she's still the only Black woman to win Actress Oscar. And that was a moment, and it wasn't a movement. And now we are in a different time with television. We're having open conversations about diversity, not only in front of the camera and behind the camera. And what Halle said in that interview is that we have to continue to push ourselves as artists to tell the truth, to tell human stories, to represent the depth and breadth of everyone who is out there. And when we do that with, and continue to do that, then it won't be a question of like, you know, another Black woman winning a Best Actress Oscar. It'll be just about the quality of the work, and then those glass ceilings will be broken. It would be amazing if the Academy saw fit this year to make me the first openly trans actor to win an acting Emmy. But if that doesn't happen, what I want to do with this moment is to highlight some of the amazing work that's happening on television and the work that we still have to do to tell more stories and to see more trans male stories. I'm so excited about my friend Brian Michael Smith, who's going to be on the L Word, and we have Elliot Fletcher, who's such a brilliant young actor who's trans. And I just want to highlight the great work that's out there, and continue to push artists, and push networks to greenlight shows that have diverse casts, to push showrunners to hire trans folks, not only for trans parts, but for both that are not trans. And I'm just so excited that trans actors are stepping up and are really doing the work and delivering these beautifully layered performances. I'm really happy and proud to be a working actor right now in this television landscape.
Absolutely. And the episode you're nominated for in Best Guest Actress in a Drama Series is, This Took a Dark Turn, which is the third to last episode of season 6. It's where Sophia is offered the opportunity of either testifying about her abuse to kind of help Tasty's case, or take a settlement from MCC and sort of getting the early release. So how would you describe Sophia's thought process when she comes to this fork in the road and she's trying to decide which path to take?
When I read that episode, I just remember just sort of being like, it was kind of a gut punch, because Tasty and I have such a long history, and it's a fraught history, right? So we were very good friends at the beginning of the series, and then we sort of had a falling out when the whole sort of prison turns on Sophia. And she's just been through so much. But I think the writing, Anthony Natali, who wrote this episode, Laura Prepon directed it so beautifully. It's really, at this point, Sophia has been through so much. It's really about her family. The chance for someone who has been incarcerated, who's gone through hell, who's left her family behind, that chance for me to at least financially begin to make things right with my family, there really wasn't much of a choice. I had to, there's a moment when Sophia, when Caputo says to Sophia in that episode that, this is a chance to have your voice heard, to have people hear you and your story and everything you've gone through. And Sophia says, no one's listening. And I read that, and then getting to, there was something that happened in the moment. Nick, who plays Caputo, is just so fabulous. And something just happened in the moment. There was he did something that I found something new that I didn't anticipate, based on what Nick did and what Laura said. And when I remember saying no one's listening, it just was this, it made me think so much about, it made me think so much about, what is going on in the world at large right now, for trans people, for people of color, for people who are immigrants, who are crying out to be heard, to have our humanity be recognized by our government. And so often our calls, our cries come on deaf ears. And so I thought so much about the oppression that Sophia experienced, the oppression that so many trans people who are incarcerated experience every single day, and how so often their calls are not heard for justice. And I keep wondering, when are we going to answer the call as a society? When is our government going to answer the call of so many people who are crying out to be heard, who are crying out to deaf ears?
Mm-hmm. And getting out of that prison, knowing that Sophia would be free, what were the emotions that you were experiencing when you first found out that would be her fate?
There just aren't even words. There aren't words to describe it. And it was such a, sort of those things, I think, in real life, when something you don't expect happens. You're sort of in shock, like getting an Emmy nomination. And so I remember playing the scene, like I was sort of just in shock, and there was a kind of a shutdown. And Laura, I love being directed by actors. Laura just said something to me that just reminded me of the stakes of the story and what it would mean after everything I've been through in prison, and what it would mean to be back on the outside with my family and getting this opportunity to find this financial opportunity to help my family. It just was, there's a shock of that, and it's sort of like you don't really fully believe it. And then so there was that, and I know there was a take of that, and then I think there's a combination of the shock of it as well as oh my God, that like I get to be free. I get to be free. I thought a lot about I did a documentary. I had the pleasure and the honor of doing a documentary, executive producing a documentary called Free Cece, about a woman named Cece McDonald, who is a transgender woman from Minneapolis, Minnesota, who spent 14 months in prison, in a men's prison, actually. She's a trans woman who went to jail for defending herself. And I had the honor of being present when Cece got out of prison in I think it was January 2014, and I remember just talking to Cece that day in the van as we left, and I said, "How are you feeling?" And she just said it just felt, everything she said felt righteous, and she just was so happy to be free, to see trees again, to just be riding in a car and not. There's just not even words really that can express the depth of being of the overwhelmedness of being free after being incarcerated for so long. And so I thought about Cece, and I thought about everything that Sophia has been through. And so it's hard to put into words what you feel when there's the possibility of being free. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the 7th season of Orange is the New Black dropped a few weeks ago. It was the final season, and we had to say goodbye to Litchfield. So I know some people maybe still haven't seen the whole thing, so I won't delve into any spoilers, but just in the broad sense, how did it feel to say goodbye to Sophia on those final days of shooting?
It is a tremendous gift to have a character that has meant so much to so many people, a character in a show that has changed the trajectory of my life. When we started shooting the first season of Orange is the New Black in 2012, I turned 40, and I thought, my birthday's in May, and I thought that I was in debt, and I owed back rent, and I was on a payment plan to avoid getting evicted from my apartment. And I thought that I was done as an actor. I thought that it was over for me, that I had turned 40, and it was time for me to go and figure out something real to do and make some real money so I could get out of debt and maybe make something of my life. And so I was going to go to grad school. I bought my friend, he had just gotten into grad school. He sold me his GRE study materials so I could, at a discount, so I could start studying for the GRE, and I was going to go to grad school. And I was done. And then this audition came along, and I went to the audition, and I got the part. And you just never know what God has in store for you. And 7 years later, we have had 7 incredible seasons. At the premiere of this 7th season, Cindy Holland, a wonderful executive from Netflix, told the audience that over 100 million people all over the world have watched at least one episode of Orange is the New Black. And this show has meant so much to so many people all over the world. And we have the very, 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 very best fans. And there just aren't words to, again, they're not words to describe how much this show has meant to me, how much this character has meant to me and has meant to the world. I am so proud that we have been a part of, I think, changing the television landscape. I really feel like we've been a part of that on so many different levels around diversity and so it's a joke, but it's the truth that in 2012 when we started shooting Orange, Netflix and chill was not a phrase that was part of the popular imagination. Not Netflix and chill now is a thing, and we really at the beginning of that. And how incredible! What an incredible gift! And this Emmy season, my nomination is the only nomination from Orange is the New Black, and it would be so incredible if Academy members thought, let's celebrate this show that changed things by saying hey to Laverne Cox, and if not, then I mean, come on, the category is so amazing. And I think when you get to this point, though, that when you're in a category, and I don't for any inch of a second think that I actually am in the category of the amazing women who I'm nominated alongside, but I am lifted up by being in their company. I've been so inspired, particularly by Miss Tyson and Felicia Rashad, and they just, and my God, Jessica Lange. The work, the level of the work, and I hope to one day live up to. And I think this is, for me, on a personal level, this is a call to action for me as an actor, to really answer the call to maybe one day be worthy to be in the category with Cicely Tyson and Felicia Rashad and Cherry Jones, and just to maybe one day I'll be worthy of that. And I'm working really hard as an artist. I met with my acting coach yesterday just to kind of check in with the instrument, because the instrument is always changing. And so maybe one day I'll live up to the incredible company I've been so blessed to be nominated alongside this season.
Are there lessons that you think the studios and the producers should take from how successful Orange is the New Black just ended up being for so many seasons?
God, I think the lesson is that people want and need to see themselves on camera. People need to see their stories reflected. And when you do that, people will come. And when you do it in a way that is so profoundly human and funny and smart, audiences will tune in. Audiences will come and celebrate the work. And I think that's the lesson, that people want and need to see themselves. And when you give them that, they will come.
Yeah. And Sophia is certainly the role that you're most known for, I would say. And now that you're done with her story, you've kind of closed the final chapter on her story. What kind of characters and projects are you hoping to be a part of in the future, whether it's on television or film or another medium?
I'm just so excited to do something different. I'm excited to get to play characters that push me and stretch me and challenge me in new ways, and make full use of this instrument. And I've experienced so much in my life. I'm so excited and happy to be alive, to be a 47-year-old Black transgender woman. And to be able to say that out loud is a huge deal for me, because Forever 21 is not just a store. That was my age for many years. And so just to be able to claim the space that I'm in now, this stage of my life, and everything that I've been through, I want to be able to bring all of that to my work. I'm working on developing some projects now. We're probably going out to pitch something next week. And so I'm engaged in, developing some projects that where I'm just producing, and then projects where I will there will be hopefully vehicles for me as an artist. And so I want to just continue to tell complicated stories. I'm deeply interested in the history of trans folks in this country, and there's just so much of that history that needs to be told. So I want to do theater. I want to be on the stage in something really substantial. I did theater. I've done theater back in the day, but it's been a while. So I just want to continue to be challenged. And I want to get better. When I look at someone like Cicely Tyson, who is in her 90s and is still killing it, and still, I believe, growing as an artist, she's such an inspiration. And so hopefully I'm just getting started, God willing, and there's so many more stories to tell, and so many more depths of my instrument that I want to mine and to explore.
Absolutely. And so thank you so much for your time, Laverne, today, and best of luck to you at this year's Emmys. And also, lest we forget, congrats on earning another Gold Derby TV Award nomination from us as well.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even know that.
Yes, sure. Yep.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh.
So there you go.
Thank you. I love you guys so much. Can I tell you, even before I was on, on television, I've been a fan of your of Gold Derby and all of your awards prognostications and whatnot. And I love what you guys do. It's such an honor to be here and to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Yeah. So for the rest of you, please hit subscribe to watch more of our Emmy season interviews and go to goldderby.com, like Laverne, to predict some of these Emmys.
You do a really good job of that. Thank you. Mwah.